back. This is Pass the Dice. We're playing a little Daggerheart this time. We're on our third session, getting a little bit more of a feel for it. So slowly but surely we are understanding the mechanics behind this. But once again, it's our homebrew version of Age of Umbra, which is inside the Daggerheart book. So thanks for tuning in. We do have a couple people not here today, so they'll be dearly missed, but they will be back the following time. So if you don't hear as many voices, we're just a little short on our staff today.
We're down a few.
We're getting
paychecks for this?
One day, that'd be awesome.
That's the goal.
Money
would be great.
Money.
Like and subscribe.
Give us your money. If anything, it's just to get better equipment.
Oh yeah. To get better equipment instead of our sad. You know, our little Yeti mic is doing pretty good.
So you have to put like the. Should we put like a that? You know what they?
Yeah,
they have like that weird
thing.
Yeah, like fur thing over it.
Like built in a little bit.
Yeah, they're supposed to be all right. I mean, honestly, it's better than
no mic.
Yeah, no mic, which we experienced.
The phone dead center.
It's just like everyone talking the same.
So anyway, without further ado, let's set the stage. Last session, you all ended up going through the abandoned asylum in order to take the quickest and fastest way to Ilmore. You were all gathered together, a healthy mixture of both couriers and delvers. Which, speaking of, I did want to add to that mechanic a little bit more. So, delvers, if you are in a dungeon and it is something that you're able to like contribute in some way due to your backstory, your class, so to speak, you'll be able to naturally roll a D4 and go on top of whatever you roll. And same with the couriers. If you are out in the lands in between, if it makes sense, and this is without using hope, but you can use hope on top of it if you wanted to. You also can utilize a D4. So that way it kind of brings in, there's a reason for these individuals to have this specialization, if you will. So just kind of bear that in mind. You just have a higher chance of, if you are in a dungeon and you are delving, you might want to rely a little bit more on the delver. Or if you're out in the lands in between, you might want to rely a little bit more on the couriers. So, just as a heads up, there's a little bit of more specialization when it comes to that. During my editing, thought about that.
The brain. Excellent.
The brain was thinking. But what happened last time, you guys ended up going through this asylum, get the fastest pathway through. You traverse through the asylum. There was a number of pathways that you could have gone, but you all ended up going down into the depths, where eventually you ended up meeting this giant, which you all ended up taking out.
How we leveled up?
No. Not yet. However, we last left off, you are all now, this creature had fallen to the ground after this tag team bullet shot went through the gaping hole that everyone was striking in the middle of this thing's head. It falls and crashes to the ground. Dust kicks up along the sand, and some of you that were close by just kind of quickly brushed all that off. But you are in a dark room, knowing that there are creatures trying to eventually get to you through Hawthorne's ingenuity. Destroying the elevator seems to have slowed whatever potential horde is on your way. down quite a bit. So due to that action, just as a heads up, there were no minions or anything like that were along in the fight.
Oh, it was worth it. Okay.
It was not worth it.
We'll see.
How are we gonna get out?
Well, I'm assuming there's a pathway forward, right?
After you end up slaying the creature, there's the pathway that you had came through, which is kind of just a single corridor. But there are these large, heavy gates that are towards the end of this like pit, this almost fighting ring, so to speak. So yeah, I'll turn the spotlight, so to speak, to you all. You all have just killed this creature. How are you feeling?
I'm tired. I got 1 HP left.
Stressed.
Stressed.
Be honest, it might be worth making a short rest.
Yeah. I could definitely use a relaxing day at the spa.
So, are you all going to be taking a short rest here? Or are you going to proceed forward? Or what are you feeling?
How many ways forward is there? Or is it just through the gates?
So there's just the iron gates right now.
So we can kind of chill back here because nothing's come from behind us yet.
Well, he said slow. It's slowed down, but the process is significantly slowed. But I assume they're going to get to us eventually.
How long is a short rest considered?
Short rest is considered, in olden times, it used to be like an hour or so. I would imagine probably in Daggerheart, more than likely it's probably an hour or two.
I still have a potion, so I can keep going at least until we get to a safe spot.
Yeah, I think
I used all the potion
That
last time.
is fair. Do you have a potion?
I used it, but
Do you want one?
Well,
you
you
can
need,
hold off on it. Is it a stamina or healing?
Stand.
Okay, that would help me, but I can hold off on it until we might need it. But if we move forward and find our way out of here,
Yeah.
we won't need it.
Yeah. I think we'll proceed forward at least for a little bit.
okay. So y'all come up to this heavy gate. You notice the gate is just, it's pretty massive actually. It is probably about close to double Orin's height, so roughly around 12 feet tall. There seems to be no handles on it.
I tried pushing the door.
Let's see if we can beat the classic puzzle.
There you
Open the
go.
door.
Open the door.
Open.
When you push on it, it doesn't seem to budge at all. You do hear a shifting noise, but it doesn't seem to budge.
How about this? I push it really hard, like just see if the momentum also bounces back in case it is a pull.
Okay.
I'll help you.
When you do that, it doesn't seem to budge at all.
Oh. Can I examine the corpse to see if there's any keys on it?
Examine the corpse? Yeah, you
Yes.
can absolutely do that. Go ahead and roll. If you're examining I would say a knowledge check. Ooh, a critical.
7-7.
7-7.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take a hope and remove the stress. So taking a look at the corpse of this thing, this monstrosity, you see the like popped faces kind of all along the back end of this creature. Looking around, trying to see something on it, you do notice that there is a kind of like a stuffed animal wrapped around its neck like almost like a necklace. But that's really the only thing with critical success that you're able to find.
Can I grab it? And then, am I just able to examine it?
I'd say you'd be able to examine it.
Anything like any hidden key?
Taking a look at the actual stuffed animal itself, feeling around in the animal, you actually don't feel anything, but there is like a squeaker that when you squeeze it. It is like this very old looking like bunny rabbit. Probably had some kind of color at some point in time, but it's so faded, but oddly well kept despite how old it is.
And it being on that creature. I'll pop it in.
If I look around the room,
Go ahead and add stuffed talisman.
Stuffed Talisman.
if I look around the room to investigate, if I roll, would you tell me everything, or would you have to be more specific?
If you roll, I'll tell you everything.
And I have advantage because Lordboard.
Lordborn. Tell me what was the verbatim on Lordborn, just so I recap my thought bubble.
So, since I consider myself well-read, you have advantage on rolls that involve the history, culture, politics of prominent persons or places. And I would feel like, since this is one of those ones that had a flame but went out, I feel like it'd be written down.
It would be a prominent place for sure. All right, go ahead.
And advantage is just with adding a d4.
It's adding a d6.
It's a d6.
Yeah. You're a delver though too.
Yeah.
Go ahead and add a d4 as well.
You are good today.
Goddamn.
Knowledge. No, crit.
No.
On top of all that was a crit set.
Double crit.
And also too,
Yeah.
I was wondering because when he said he got crit 7s, I'm like, if I roll crit 7s, do I get to remove 2 stresses? Because choose a number between 1 and 12, and you roll that number on a duality die. Gain a hope or clear a stress. You can change this number after a long rest. I just rolled 2 of them.
I would say that it's interesting. So I was looking it up. Some people have done it where if both numbers roll up to 7, or if you roll the number if you end up rolling like a 7 or something else.
That's how I've been doing it.
Yeah, I
But
know 7 and something.
I just rolled 2 7s though. So does that count as 2?
I would say that it'll count as 2. No matter what, it would have taken away 1 just because of the critical
So
success.
I take off 3 stress.
I would say 2 stress.
Okay. I'm just saying, what are the odds of me rolling double 7s?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
What are 24?
That's fair.
That's awesome.
Statistically speaking.
And also having my number be 7 that I picked for when we started.
Just like guesses.
So taking a look around the room, you do notice that there are almost above this sand pit. It looks almost as if there are viewing a second a balcony up there, where potentially I'm not entirely sure of what has been going on in this asylum for X amount of years, but it's very possible that this may have been some form of fighting ring of some sort that may have challenged this creature. Some sport maybe for the inmates that are here.
And then, do I see any kind of levers or other rooms or doors that?
So I'll say that you end up seeing a small indentation with that critical. The same indentation of the diamond that you used to do the lever on the outside.
You kept that key, right?
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I grabbed it.
You grabbed it.
Yes, I did grab it.
Shit. Otherwise, we're going to have to backtrack.
We couldn't backtrack.
I can tell.
All right. After looking at this, I grabbed the key and I put it it slots in.
Slots in just fine, and when that goes in, you begin hearing gears shift. The giant doors slowly move out. When you do it, the sound of just gears continue to turn. But eventually the door themselves ends up opening up and being ready to...
Once the door's open, is it dark or can we see it?
So you see a very old looking, not very well kept, probably because of how long it's been, but a dock.
Dock.
You see that the dock itself opens up into this lake, and you can see at this point in time the smoke of Ilmore across the lake.
Okay.
But there's a couple boats that are present. Based on your history roll, you know that Ilmore is a big place and center of trade, which is one of the reasons why you were all sent out there to fix or help or in any way, shape, or form, because if this location was taken, it would be a great wound to humanity.
So,
but
is
there
El-
might have been trade from at one point in time when this flame was lit.
Is Elmore a like dock city?
It is.
So, okay, now I'm just curious. Because of my amphibious ancestry,
Yeah.
I can breathe and move naturally underwater. Would I move faster swimming than on a boat?
I would say that you probably would, yes. Your companions, though, not so much.
We'll have to take the boat.
Do we see a way to close the gate behind us?
I was gonna ask, can we take that talisman or that?
Oh, I grabbed the key back too.
You do grab the
Can
key.
we?
When you do, the gate actually ends up closing.
All right, let's run, guys. I hop to the other side.
Yeah.
It's like the garage door. You're just gonna sneak underneath the
Just hop over it.
I popped the sensor.
So now there's no way they're getting back.
Hat falls off.
Is there like a way for them to
Well, you need
Very
a
Indiana Jones.
Is there like a way to like squeeze through this gate, or is it like solid? Like?
It is solid.
So I think we're in a good spot.
We could rest here, or I see the finish line now, like right there.
There's nothing saying that we can't attempt to rest while
We row.
we
We could do a short rest while rowing.
How can we get a judge? Can Hawthorne do a roll or something to get a judge of how long it'll take us to cross this lake?
So yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and do a knowledge check for analyzing that.
I will help them.
You're going to use a hope?
I'm gonna use a hope, and since we're out, are we still in the dungeon?
You are no longer in the dungeon.
So would they also, because they're courier, get a plus?
Or D4?
I would say yes.
Okay, sweet. And then you said I roll a d6?
You roll a d6 to help.
Okay.
Yes.
I got two.
20 with hope.
20 with hope.
Let's roll.
Make sure to add that.
Yes.
Due to your kind of judging, like from being a courier for many years, taking a look out, you're able to gauge it pretty easily. It probably would end up taking in fair weather, probably about 45 minutes. In not the best of weather, which it is still raining outside, it might upwards of maybe an hour and 10 minutes.
What if I got out of the boat and I was pushing it as they rowed?
You could do that, yes.
Strong
To
legs.
assist. Strong legs, you'd be able to use that experience.
That'd be awesome.
So you might be able to, with that, be able to definitely shred some time off of that.
As a courier, would I know of any like unusual things in this lake at all, or do I have any experience with it?
I would say using your previous roll, you know that anywhere where there isn't a flame is not safe.
Should we take a short rest now before going on the boat or after? Because I feel like once we hit the shores, it's game time.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement. Once we hit those shores, it's time to do it.
Would we be able to judge how bad Illium's doing right now?
What was it?
Can we see can we get a judge of how bad Illium's doing?
Ilmore.
Oh, Ilmore? The distance, like you can see that there's a little bit of plume of smoke. However, like being an hour away, you really can't see. Yeah, exactly. As you approach, you could probably get a better idea, of course.
We could always try to take a rest on the boat or just rotate.
Yeah.
You could.
Have 2 people around, 2 people resting.
Yeah.
Only concern is would all of us be able to rest that?
We could do one. He can push, and then one of us can row, and then he could rest, and then 2 row.
It's only about an hour and a half or so across with the weather? Or?
About an hour, hour and a half with under not the best terms of weather.
So it'd only be a set of people being able to rest.
All I really need
Not everyone would be able to get a decent repair, so to
Yeah.
speak.
All this time, Wart has already like undressed his robe.
He's naked.
He's naked.
He's naked. Little naked
Just
man.
starting to do like calisthenics
Stretches.
stretching.
You see this little frog just like getting ready, like rotating
His
his
little
neck.
swim cap on.
Little dog.
I just need a. Honestly, all I need is just to recover HP. That's it. If I really need to, I
So-
can recover HP and then row.
And if we were to take a rest together, I could recover your full HP, and then you could recover my stress, and we can go back to Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's everyone else? What about your guys' armor slots? Don't forget that.
I can use hope to repair my armor slots. I'm full on hope. I've got
It's up to
5
out of 3.
2 out of 3.
I'm at a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
We could rest, then swap, and then they could rest, and you guys
There's not
can
enough time left.
30,
The rest
30.
is a half an hour.
I could
An hour-ish.
I'll try to rest when we get over there if we can. I can survive without a rest.
I think this might end up being like D-Day though.
It's entirely up to what you guys want to do. I know you guys just had a big fight against a creature.
And then me recover those 2 stress, that's helped out a lot. So I'm like, I should be okay.
I'm sitting at almost max stress, so that's my bigger concern.
Yeah, personally, I think we should. Take that short rest.
I think we should
At
before
least,
we get on the boat.
yeah. As long as we're taking a short rest, I feel like if we take a long rest, then we're screwed.
No,
Just
definitely not
do-
a long rest. We don't have enough
Yeah.
time for that. But I think just sitting down, gathering our breath.
And then plus we have like a new way of possibly rowing faster that will get there faster. So
Could I use my wings as a sail? Just tie me to the boat. And just
I just hold them up
We
like
just
in
tie
the
you-
Titanic.
Yeah, that's right.
And we just tie you to the boat. You pull like push.
I would do that.
That's
We're
fun.
cutting this down to a half hour max.
We can do this.
Alright,
Alright, so you guys are going to go ahead and take a short rest.
I think we're okay with watching. I don't think we have to worry about behind us since we closed that gate. Yeah, like
I don't see a
and
way.
we'll
for
know
them to
if the gate opens because it'll. So I think we don't have to worry about doing like.
Do
a
we see any
watch.
other exit points from the asylum around us?
No, actually. So this is a very secluded cove,
like a little
so to
cove.
speak. Yeah.
I don't.
I'm not exactly worried about water-faring creatures at the moment, except for Wart. But Wart's
He's the only
naked.
one I'm terrified of.
Okay, so
You should.
I help you with stress, right? Is that what we were talking about? And
Yeah,
then
so you
help
just
me
roll, and then I don't even bother with your HP, just clear it.
because you have the
Someone
flank
refresh
ability.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically how rest works, so you have 2 actions that you can take. You can recover HP by using a D4. Whatever you roll is how much HP you heal. You can recover stress. Same aspect, roll a D4. You can recover your armor slots. You don't have to roll for that.
Oh, you said D4.
Just be able to repair them entirely. And last but not least, I believe, is prepare. Which basically, if you're preparing, you have nothing else to do. You can gain a hope. You can double gaining a hope if someone else would like to prepare with you.
How much do I recover?
So let me go ahead and go around. Obram, what did you decide to do with your 2 actions?
So my 2 actions, I helped him relieve stress,
Okay.
and then I repaired my armor.
You repaired your armor. Okay. Those are your 2.
Yes.
Hawthorne.
I'm gonna repair stress and or repair my armor and relieve stress.
Okay. Awesome. What'd you roll on the D4?
2.
2. Cool.
What's your HP actually?
I don't have one mark somewhere.
Wart.
I'm gonna recover health and stress. I rolled a 1 for HP and I rolled a 4 for stress.
Awesome. That's kind of what you needed.
That's exactly what I needed.
Go ahead and remove the stress, add or gain the HP.
And then I helped Orin regain HP. So Orin's at full. Orin also rolled. I am down 3 stress, so I'm back in the clear.
Okay.
And then I'm curious, since it is technically considered a long rest, can I work on a project?
I would say it would have to be a proper long rest.
Okay, to work on a project.
Yeah.
In that case, I choose to prepare and gain a hope.
All right. Sounds good.
Nice.
So
It says once per rest, does this reset abilities?
yes,
Yes.
yes, it does. Now that being said, no one is keeping watch, so we're going to go ahead and do the roulette of the crawling king.
Oh no!
Fuck. Now, how this mechanic works is that I have a D6.
Oh fuck! That's my fault.
No. Yeah, you guys needed. You kind of needed to protect yourselves. Now, if we had a fuller party, there may have been other people that could have, but those that were here were very much involved in the fight. So, what I'm going to have everyone do is that you will roll your hope and fear dice. And I'm going to roll a d6. Now, bear in mind, not all of these are bad, just so you're aware. And not always is fear or hope going to dictate, like, good or bad. It just might mean that certain circumstances could happen. All based on the scenario. Okay? So we're all going to go ahead and roll at once.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to go ahead and go around. Orin,
I need you to.
I believe you, whatever you got.
Okay, so I have 1 fear, but I'm in between. If you look,
Oh, that's
in
why.
between 3 and a 6.
I will let you go ahead and re-roll that other dice.
Okay, so the fear,
Fear
is
is
the 1.
staying that. Okay. Which is you. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, whatever you want to do.
9.
9. Okay. So you got
10.
10 with hope.
With hope.
Add that hope. In this circumstance, you will be adding or subtracting.
Okay.
Hawthorne.
17 with hope.
17. Add the hope.
18 with hope.
18 with hope. Add the hope.
Right.
Crit. Remove. I don't know if you. Oh, gain a hope and if you add stress.
I have 1 left.
Okay. With that being, we had.
Wait, with a crit, do you do both, or is it just one or the other?
So sorry.
If you crit, do you get 1 hope and relieve a stress, or is it just one? Or
You
the
do both.
Oh.
Yeah.
other? And the other time.
Yeah, you did.
The first time.
Previous.
I just took off the stress. I was like, fuck the stress.
That being said, we had scenario 6.
What was that?
So as you guys are all getting ready and preparing and repairing your armor, I'm gonna say, let's see here. Who's working on repairing your armor? Is it just the 2 of you? Okay. I'm gonna say that as you guys are stitching back your chainmail, your plate mail, or what have you, you're watching behind you and you see like Wart doing his stretches. You see,
Yeah, I didn't put my clothes back on for the short
yeah,
rest.
just completely naked. But
It's awesome. It's awesome.
next to Wart, you do see Ilya also weirdly doing the same stretches. They both seem to be almost in sync with being able to, like, they almost have a routine as you notice. Yeah.
Like she's not even like gonna help out. She just wants to do it for fun.
Faint music coming from
Like
that direction.
like pushing the boat and stuff.
So you see the 2 of them kind of doing quick stretches and getting prepared. While you are like just kind of taking a look and stitching this, Cole ends up coming around and kind of doing what he can to relieve stress for, or his HP, was it?
HP for me, stress for him.
Okay.
Yeah,
He was kind of
doing both.
How are you bandaging him up?
So as I walk up to him, I open up my tinkering kit for my revolvers. I pull out a little needle that I normally would use for cleaning the weapon out, and then I dunk it in the water real quick, wipe it off, pull some stitching off of my my leather duster, and then I just start digging into those scars and tying them.
I'm also hiding my chest for everybody.
Yeah. These are what's visible.
Yeah.
So Cole is behind you, just kind of like patching you up, making sure that you're no longer bleeding out.
Does he see anything on my body?
If he's looking, I don't know if he's looking or not.
I focus. My eyes are green. I'm
Okay.
focused on the
The task at hand.
Alright.
Very good. Very good. You see out into the distance in the clouds and thunder as you peer out of this cove. With each thunder strike, you notice like a faint image of like, you're not entirely sure if it's just your imagination or if things are at play, but you see with a thunder strike a massive undead skull in the actual clouds itself with each thunder. And you notice that the cloud becomes to get fuller and darker and darker. And over Ilmore, this black mist begins to kind of creep in. You're all now on a timer.
Question to DM.
Yeah.
Would I know, since my past, given what happened to my settlement, would I know what this is exactly? Or would everyone technically know what this is?
Everyone would technically know what this is, so
Okay.
let me kind of paint an image just to give a little bit more lore to this world. The Crawling King's essence is everywhere. Now, you're not entirely sure how Ilmore's flame went out, because it is the one thing protecting that settlement from his essence. This deity that all that you know has been able to ruin the world, so to speak, end it. You do know that his essence can show up in like natural environment, like elements, like clouds. You've seen it like his essence kind of come out of the ground, or
Like a wave of water.
a wave of water. It is misfortune as well as the feeling that those have seen when you've seen this in the past. There's a sense of utter hatred that is there, that comes from it, that derives it, and this sense of void, of just devouring and leaving nothing. So you're all very familiar with the natural occurrences of the Crawling King. You're not protected. You just pray and hope that it doesn't find you when this happens, which it doesn't seem to have.
But we're going right towards it, so we're crazy.
So you now have a timer due to the natural event of this lake. Depending on your actions, the timer will tick.
I look at Hawthorne, because we saw the cloud as they were, you were patching me up.
Yeah.
This is not good.
No, it's not.
We need to go, guys.
What's going on? And I look up. And I'm like, oh shit! I run over. I grab Wart by like his slippery head, and I like push the boat, and I leap onto the nearest boat.
We're following after them.
Yeah.
I make sure I grab my clothes and everything. My bag.
I'll grab his stuff too.
You're holding your shit. I'm just like,
Yeah, we're just like grabbing it. It's like Home Alone 2. We're just all grabbing everything.
settle up, folks.
All right.
I'll get on the row.
Wait,
Sorry.
arms. Let's do the shit.
So this boat seems to be able to carry, since the party is smaller this time, even though they are technically there, this will carry all of you.
I was gonna say,
I jump into the water.
Jump into the water? Okay. The water is icy cold. It's very, very murky. Like when you get in, there's like a of like mud or some kind of substance as you get in and begin to kind of push and get the boat going. So I need boat mechanics now. So I need 2 individuals that are going to be rowing. There are 4 rows. However, you could have it so that you have 2 people. I'm going to say one person will have 2, the other person will have 2.
Yeah.
Who are going to be our rowers? Okay.
Can I sit like towards the front and like keep looking at this and try to track it and see if I can notice anything as we get closer?
Absolutely.
Setting in the water to be the lookout, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we have Wart kind of gauging the back. Now, how this is going to work out is that there's going to be so many rolls that will tick this timer. That being said, hopefully you make it by the end of 6. I'm gonna have I'm gonna have our rowers do a strength check for me. I need Hawthorne, since you are up front. I need you to do a knowledge check for me, looking out. And when it comes to Wart, I will let you do either a agility or strength check, depending on
Strength.
Strength
is negative. Strength is 0, but it's not negative.
Can I give him hope?
I'm gonna say everyone is working on a particular task right
so.
now. Otherwise,
Can I start beating my armor for like rhythm for the rowers?
you can if you want to.
For dramatic.
Well, I'm going to use
effect.
all of my knowledge and nerdom as we're doing this. So.
Fair.
So,
Expend a hope to use my experience unyielding
You can.
in this case.
And strong legs, or
stubborn.
there you go. I would say that could fall
Or
under.
adrenaline. Which
Would
one
you say
would
we're-
adrenaline.
Okay.
Would you say we're under pressure?
I would say with seeing that cloud coming down, I would feel pressure for sure.
Under pressure.
So you all can use your experience. You'll have to mark X amount of hope,
I
and
will
then you'll
not-
add that to it.
I will not use my experience because I critted.
3 crits in a row.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
9s. I was like,
Okay.
those are both 9s.
Strong legs.
Since we're out in the wilds, am I able to use my
I would say that this would fall under a courier.
courier so I can do D4 as well?
Yep.
And then use my stubbornness then.
I kick off the shore.
With unmatched
Leg power.
leg power, you guys almost kick off like there's a motor behind you. You see this like just splashing, and just you all of a sudden kind of get kicked off the G-force from his feet. All right, so rowers.
Throw legs. Ribbit.
Seems that you have gotten quite the big kickstart, literally. What did we row?
You want to go first?
9 with hope.
9 with hope. Add that hope.
So I got 10 hope, 9 fear, so 19 with hope. Plus 2, so 21 plus 4. Oh, I'm sorry, plus 2 because of my stubbornness, and I rolled for my courier. So, that's
So what is the total?
So the total is 23.
This total is what?
23 with hope.
23 with hope. Okay. So you're at a pretty good clock right now. You guys are relatively in sync. There's a little bit of like gears turning a little bit for Colt, but he managed to try and keep up the pace.
I spit oil on it.
But add. So you got, was it with hope, right?
Yes, it was
Okay.
with hope. So
Both of you
10
make sure that you add your hope. Hawthorne, what did you get?
I got a 10 with hope, a 7 with fear, plus my 2 for my experience, and then the 1 for my courier, 20 with hope.
20 with hope. Go ahead and add that hope. So Hawthorne, you guys, even though you have different backgrounds, you are all kind of beginning to be in sync. You're under pressure, you're like full speed ahead, eyes forward. Hawthorne warns that there's some bubbles happening over to the right hand side. Orin, you kind of quickly like begin to paddle and pivot, and as well as everyone kind of begins to kind of shift the boat around whatever that bubbling was happening.
Yeah, I focus on the right side and I'm pushing the right so it goes left.
Yep. So that is a success.
Okay. The timer has not popped yet.
Once again, another round.
Let's go. Oh.
This time I'm gonna save my hope, so I'm not gonna use my.
You're not
my
going to use
attack.
your. Okay. No worries.
But I'm still gonna use my courier.
I will use another hook.
Okay.
I don't know if I should use that, so it's 2 or not.
Well, shit. You kind of have to make sure that you use it prior to rolling, just as a heads up.
Okay.
My 4 dice hit my
Fear dice, and then it fell. I don't know where it's at.
Probably under the
Miscellaneous dice.
Oh, I see it. Scarlet, it's right underneath your foot. A little bit to the left. Oh, you're so close. Yep. Thank you so much. I'm sorry
Nice.
about that.
Of course.
Okay. Rowers, what did we get?
16 with hope.
so
Go ahead and add that hope. The rust kind of
11.
falls off of his arm.
11
Correction,
with
18.
18.
I got 11 with fear.
11 with fear. Keep that.
No.
For reference, just so you all know, I have 6 fear.
It's a lot of fear.
But still, a success. Wart, what did you get?
13 with hope.
13 with hope. Add the hope. And Hawthorne,
20 with hope.
20 with hope. Go ahead and add the hope.
I'm very hopeful today.
Very hopeful.
Keep that way.
Let's hope so.
So you guys end up pushing forward. Another going faster and faster. You guys are picking up momentum. I'd say, Wart, as you are right behind Cole, you're seeing just like rust kind of fall off of his joints where the hydraulics are. But you push forward all the more quicker. I am going to spend a fear.
He had.
Doesn't mean,
Where's my note? Just so.
That fear being said, I won't really reveal what that is yet. But you all propelled forward as you were.
Are we halfway there?
What's that?
Are we halfway there?
I would say that you are about a quarter of the way there.
Oh
All right, I need another roll.
Another hope. As long as I keep getting them.
Just keep.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, I'm gonna start with Hawthorne this time. Hawthorne, what did you roll?
11 with hope.
11 with hope. Go ahead and add the hope.
You got a hope?
Rowers, what do we have?
I got a 19 with hope.
19 with
19 with hope.
19 with hope. Add the hope.
I got crit.
Got a crit. Awesome.
Let's go
Go
roll.
ahead and release both stress and add a hope.
really hope these don't come back to pose.
I have a 17 with fear.
17 with fear. Okay, I'll take that fear.
No.
At this point in time, I'm going to reveal what transpired. So, as you are beginning to pick up, you guys are moving and grooving otherwise. With how much stress and how much pushing you guys are doing right now, you start to become very strained. I want everyone to go ahead and take a stress.
Shit.
Okay, I'll get a crit.
You guys are now
I
about
need a crit.
halfway. Once again, roll it up.
I feel like we're running out of our good rolls.
As you said that.
Shit. You spoke it into existence.
Yeah, you did kind of.
Yeah. You. Yeah.
Rowers. What do we have?
9 with fear.
Now fear. Orber.
19 with fear.
19 with fear. Okay.
Yes.
Take those fears. Wart.
9 with fear.
9 with fear.
Sean's gonna have a full thing.
22 with fear.
22 with fear. It was a success.
I'll take it.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
As long as we get there fast.
I hope we don't splinter our boat in half.
Damn it all. Reckless abandon. Backs against the wall. Fuck it. Throw all the fear at us.
That would have been a fun ability. For every fear the GM has, you get a buff.
So, at this point in time, you're a little over halfway. You start to begin to see the chaos that is happening in Ilmore. I will be expending 3 fear.
You just got all those?
You got all those, and you're like, I'm gonna use
Why are you burning them like
Cashing
you're making a
them.
hole in your pocket?
cashing it.
He's cashing them in.
Cashing it in. You notice that the town itself, there are people just screaming and running and trying to defend themselves. You see that the outer walls seem to be remaining strong. Archers are, at this point in time, you can see pretty clearly of everything in the shouting out in the background. You see archers letting loose arrows after arrows. The townsfolk seem to be like rushing towards what looks to be like a church-like structure in this port town. You see, at this point in time, the Calling King's essence swoop in and go into the water.
As in.
Not where you're at.
Oh.
It seems to
like,
be focused on the town.
Okay.
Calling King's essence.
I was like, oh man.
At this point in time, Hawthorne, you notice with that roll that undead creatures begin to crawl out of the water and begin to, you see like the shouting like people starting to get dragged from the piers and being pulled underwater. I need you all to roll once again.
And I'm immediately yelling this back to Ward to try to help him keep an eye out for these things.
To go faster.
To go faster.
I went faster.
Spending that hope.
Alright, Hawthorne, what did you get?
15 with hope.
15 with hope, take the hope. You notice that as people are being drugged down into the waters, you see some of the guards take notice and they begin to charge over, beginning with their spears to take out some of the creatures that are beginning to surface up. Rowers.
14 with fear.
14 with fear. Okay. Take that fear.
You're just giving him more ammunition.
And Auburn.
So I used my experience stubborn because we're not getting there fast enough.
Okay.
We're getting frustrated.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 with hope.
18 hope. Add that hope. And then
19 with hope.
19 with hope. Add that hope. At this point in time, you guys almost run over. Actually, not almost. You run over and make it past the timer.
Can I,
You've successfully made that. Yes.
can I see? Because obviously I can't see in front of me. There's a boat over there. But if I look down, do I see these undeads crawling like upwards?
So taking a look, I can let you roll. Go ahead and roll a instinct check for me, and I'll paint this image for everyone else. So you guys, almost like a motorboat.
No way.
Oh.
No
So
way.
you're using all your crits.
Yeah. 2-2.
2-2. Take the hope.
crazy. You gotta run the
Relinquish
2-2
the stress.
Haha, base stress.
Now, you kind of run over a couple of these undead like creatures. You notice that. Yeah, just coming in hot.
Because if I can see them, I'm aiming for their heads
Okay.
as they pop out of the water.
But it's almost like you hit turbulence, just running over these things. And Wart, as you're kicking, you kick off of like a skull just kind of goes up underneath your fin. But you hit the ground and you see some of the guards just kind of as they're defending off, they look in like a sense of panic and curious and wonder as they are defending these things. What did you end up? You got a crit.
Yeah.
So taking a look underneath, you do see these things in hordes kind of slowly marching on the surface or on the ground level underneath the water. You all disembark. A guard ends up approaching you. It's a younger, like fawn, wearing some like chitin armor. So it's like bug-like armor that they may have probably fashioned from some of the creatures that are in the surrounding area. Couriers, you would notice this is it's almost standard. All right, so odd situation had happened. For some reason, it stopped recording at this point in time, which is really upsetting because it was quite the battle. So, without further ado, I'm going to actually kind of just explain what ended up happening for our viewers at home. The group, after disembarking, had talked with the elven guard. He was in shock to see this group just emerge from the lake. Wart ended up showing that he had a branch of Eve, something to be able to create this sacred flame inside the town. The guard was ecstatic. He was almost as if there was life would breathe back into him. Not all was lost. The party disembarked. When this happened, they quickly assessed the situation as the undead horde began kind of coming out of the lake itself. The guard directs the group. If they were to go straight up these staircases, eventually they'll make it into the center of town, and that's all that they needed to know. Without much thought, Orin and Colt dashed forward, full speed, and at the same time, Wart ended up trying to get higher ground, so he used his experienced strong legs to be able to jump up and go from rooftop to rooftop. Hawthorne swiftly asked, as the group charged forward, she asked for being able to find where Remy was. The guard spoke to her in just this quick tone, just with mixed feelings of this excitement as well as fear of everything that he has seen thus far over the past 12 hours that he and his troop have been trying to defend and protect. He says that the last time he had saw Remy, whom was a Firekeeper, somebody that is able to tend the flames and be able to reignite. He said that she was up on one of the actual watchtowers itself, so this great wall that kind of protects the city, very similar to Rothnir's defenses. With that, Hawthorne dashed out. She flew directly over to where what was described, and as she flew above, she saw the citizens down below her in conflict. It looked like farmers were fighting alongside soldiers, children were trying to defend themselves. There's a lot of people that ran into a church-like structure just to bar the doors and protect themselves for what this kind of hell on earth was. She dashed with tremendous speed and looked over at the wall, and on the wall itself she saw these Ilmore soldiers defending the undead Horde and these twisted creatures. One of them was like this very skeletal creature with elongated spine, unnaturally long, with legs kind of going across, almost very similar, reminiscent of like a centipede, but in human form, crawling up the hill itself. One of the guards ended up stabbing its head, caving in its skull, and it falling down to the ground. But Seraphine knows what a Firekeeper's robes look like, and through a few successful rolls she was able to find and pick out this group of them, and she flew down and quickly stated that which one of them was Remy. And this tall orc woman with a bastard sword on her back looked up at her as she flew in the sky, and almost like an angel looked down at Remy. She stated that she was the one that she was looking for, and she had this sense of determination, and Hawthorne quickly stated, "I have a branch of Eden, and we are going to reignite your flame." So the two of them took off. Hawthorne grabbed her, and just in the nick of time, this creature tried to get up on top of the actual wall itself, but one of the Firekeepers did a quick incantation and blasted it with flame. They started heading towards the remaining of the group. Stealthily, Wart ended up going from rooftop to rooftop and got a bird's eye view of the creature that was protecting this flame, the brazier that the flame should be in. He carefully got down on all fours and observed this large, irregularly large, wyvern-like creature. It had features of a dragonkin, very humanoid, chest up, but it seemed to have been like pumped full of something, as if it was on some kind of form of irregular steroids that made this thing look tremendous. In the back, where the spine would technically usually be, there's these elongated tentacles of darkness kind of floating over it. At this point in time, thunder started rolling in as the rain began to increase, and with each thunder struck, there was this skull in the sky, in this cloud, that as if staring down at the chaos, laughing at the group. This creature that was defending and getting rid of, not really defending, but killing anything that got in its way, trying to keep anything and everything away from this brazier, kept itself structured and solid there. Meanwhile, Seeth and Ilya. Yes, Ilya. Were down at the docks and defending as this undead horde began to continue to come out of the ocean or the lake itself. The two of them began to strike and defend and keep that wall protected, the shoreline protected. During this time, both Colt and Obram ended up making it up to the second stairs, and they were greeted with these creatures that were twisted by the crawling king's essence. They crawled on top of their hands, and these were humanoid creatures, and their back swung over itself. Where there should be feet, there were teeth, and where there should be a spine, there was a mouth. All the while, the head, think of this as a handstand, twisted and looking up at them with these void-like flames coming out of their eyes. A key feature of the Crawling King if something's been corrupted by it once someone goes hollow. 3 of them busted through, and one of them was devouring a woman that was on to the side, and they reverted their gaze towards these 2 individuals charging towards them. Obram ends up taking out his broken halberd and his shield and begins swatting and slashing at them. The 2 of them ended up getting a hold of him, and he struggles to get them off, but they bite into his gear. In his chainmail begins to kind of deteriorate. He's using some of his armor slots to kind of protect himself. These creatures end up trying to get a hold of Colt, but when their teeth try and dig into his metal, it just kind of scrapes off. He's left unharmed. Obram took this moment to try and get Colt further, so he ended up distracting the 3 twisted creatures, these hollows, to get his attention. Colt was able to slip past them. At this point in time, Hawthorne ends up flying from the sky and being able to have a conversation with Remy, who is the Firekeeper. Hawthorne ends up dropping Remy into a safe location right next to Wart, and she unfortunately gets targeted, gets looked at by this creature, this dragonkin, stares up at the flying angel and charges forward. The creature jumps up on top of the side of the building, crashing into it, and looks up at Hawthorne and uses one of its tentacles, grabbing a hold of Hawthorne's leg and slamming her down, breaking into the actual building itself. This dragonkin, this Drokov, I believe they're called, turns over and looks at Wart as Wart tries to push this thing off and just had no effect. He begins to climb up on top, targeting Remy, and ends up slashing with the tentacles at her. She was nimble enough to get out of the way. All the while, Colt ends up pivoting the turn and shoots at the creature, wounding him, but it seems to have distracted him. So the creature turns over and lets out a roar that kind of echoes throughout this place. All the while, people are screaming and running away. There are hellhounds running through the streets, devouring the innocents. We ended up panning back over to Seeth, who stealthily ends up kind of dipping into the shadows as these creatures begin to crawl out and strikes from behind, dismembering some of these creatures that come up. Similar to what we saw on the actual defended wall, this long, irregular creature ends up coming out of the water with this extended spine. This centipede-like humanoid ends up coming and striking at Seeth stealthily dodges and begins to rip her Zay and strike again, countering the move. At this point in time, from behind, Ilith ends up taking out her 2 fists, or Ilya ends up taking out her 2 fists and just begins to pummel this thing's rear end. They are locked into combat, and it seems like this growing crowd of the undead begin to swarm around them. It's looking quite dire at this point in time. The sounds of the undead are echoing around them. Hawthorne ends up getting up from this, being dazed from getting attacked from this tentacle thing, and she flies on up and brings out her axe and slashes up one of the tentacles, completely removing it. It lands on the ground and it scurries away as if it has a mind of its own. And then she comes back down with another strike, and when it does, it strikes into the shoulder of the creature, and and it lets out this horrific yell. And after striking, her fawn ability, she's able to kick the creature off, and the creature flies off of the actual roof itself. At this point in time, Colt ends up taking out his revolver and lays bullets into this thing. Just bullet round after round after round after round, and it ends up damaging this creature tremendously. All the while, Orbram's in this inner conflict with these creatures that are crawling on their hands. Orbram ends up bashing one's head in and pushes forward. He sees just very briefly and is able to let out this yell of brace yourselves as this dragonkin bashes itself in a blind fury, just bringing the whole building down, crumbling, and the party ends up taking severe wounds at this point in time. Remy takes this opportunity to dash past the creature and meets eyes with Orbram. Orbram has a venturing pack and ends up getting this tarp. The whole concern of being able to reignite the flame during this hell storm that they're going through. They're worried, of course, of being able to ignite such a flame. Even though it be magical, the rain itself is magical from the Crawling King's essence. But the two of them lock eyes as he pulls out this tarp, and they make their way towards the Brazier. Wart, disheveled, from this below, he gets on up onto his own 2 feet and sees what ends up happening for both Orbram and Remy. He hops over this creature and begins making a dash towards them, towards the two of them. He uses his quote-unquote P-word to be able to float the tarp up above the Brazier itself, and he holds concentration there as Remy begins to grab a hold of any kind of wood that she could find to be able to reignite with the sacred flame. Remy takes the branch from Wart. During this time, Hawthorne and Orbram pivot and charge forward towards this dragonkin, this wyvern twisted by the Crawling King's essence. Colt ends up laying out bullet after bullet after bullet after bullet, his eyes going from green to red as he begins to lay waste. And when he's doing that, he's becoming overheated. His rust is completely deteriorating off of him and falling to the ground, and he's left with this steel pristine like body as he is gaining temperature. Vents are coming off of him. extinguishing the actual heat off of his body. At this point in time, the Crawling King's essence ends up seeping into the town, where visibility becomes almost zero. This fog, this black corruption. The creature, after being barraged by bullets, ends up turning over to Colt. All the while, Obram is charging to get to Colt's side. This dragonkin takes out this giant breath, which he sucks in all of the darkness that is surrounding him, so that all the darkness is cleared and is inside this thing's lungs. And then he lets out this dark flame that is encompassing and just almost eclipses Colt. And in this moment, Colt's life flashes before his eyes. He sees every moment, every second, and he's brought back to the time when he was in mortal flesh. He sees, with this flash of light, a beautiful elf maiden staring at him, her hands coming down to caress his chin and pull him up. And she says to him and whispers, "It's time. It's time to come home." And he feels almost as if his body leaves his mortal frame. But then he realizes the flash that happened before his eyes was Obram that stood in front of this blow, and the metal spark that hits when his shield braces for impact. And they are locked in this struggle. And Obram turns to look over his shoulder at Colt and gives him a nod of acknowledgement and shoves off the strike of this creature. Colt steadies himself and pulls out his revolver and takes out his last bullet. Meanwhile, things are looking dire at the shoreline. Both Seath and Ilya are down to one knee, and they fight to the very last breath. Ilya ends up going 1, 2, 3 punches onto these different creatures as they swarm, and they become back to back, breathing heavily, sweating, down to their very last ounce of strength. But a moment happens where everything freezes just for a sec, and this blast of light is erupted from the center of town, and both Ilya and Seath look over, and this light, this beacon of flame just ignites. Wart and Remy succeeded. You can see that she was doing her incantation, and through a few different rolls and history checks, Wart was able to mimic and remember the fire enchanter's prayer, and accelerated the actual ignition of this flame. When this happens, this blast of holy radiant energy ends up spreading through the town, and almost like instantly, some of the little weaker creatures just get evaporated by its light, but this wyvern-like creature is able to hold its form. Wart ends up taking one of the embers from this flame and chucks it directly at, and it flies up into the air almost like starlight and comes down like a meteor. And when this happens, it's an all-out attack. Obram ends up shoving the creature's claw off to the side, ends up bashing its skull upwards. And when this happens, Hawthorne comes down to strike, leaving a clean cut directly through its skull. And with the last bullet left in Colt's revolver, he takes his final shot and obliterates its skull, and when that happens, it isn't able to contain its form anymore, and it shifts and twists and almost implodes onto itself as this flame begins to radiate this heat, this holy light, and the battle is won. At this point in time, up in the sky, the Crawling King's essence shrieks in pain as it was so close to the sacred flame. The party ends up taking a mark of stress, which ends up shivering and making Colt collapse, unconscious, down to the ground as he was at his wit's end, his whole body charred from this dark flame. Orin ends up turning over to the group and his chainmail completely torn off. And that ended that night's session. Thank you again for this abridged version for those that have made it this far. And once again, I apologize. It was very strange that that error had occurred. Not entirely sure what happened there. However, as things played out, emotions were high, everyone was almost dead, and I couldn't, from a DM's perspective, the Daggerheart spotlight system has been phenomenal. I tip my hat off to them. I know I'm just a little person in this grand pool of different DMs and GMs and etc. But I was very impressed with the Spotlight system this time, especially when we were assigning Spotlight. Anyway, I appreciate everyone that has listened to this thus far, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.